And we are live. Yay! So, I want to welcome you all to my channel. I am Brenda Williams, Soul Coach. So, we're going through some changes within the company because we believe so deeply in the role that has have come to play in the world. So much so that we're going deeper into the work. So we are culture shifters, and under this aegis, we feel that the feminine empathic leadership is going to support the emerging world. We saw the horrific lynchings of 2020, and there was a clamor. A lot of DEI work sprung up as a result of it. Not sprung up always, but that's made into the work. And there's been a lot of conversation within in many DEI spaces that there isn't as much interest in the work anymore. Contracts don't exist as they once did. And I've noticed that a lot of times in our world, we're very reactionary. So it takes something catastrophic to happen for change to occur. And at first, spiritual beings, we have to remember that we're spirit first and then we're human. So anything that we want to see shift in the world has to shift first. And this is why I am so excited that Lisa Sullivan has agreed to share in space with me today, because her work is, I believe, the example of culture shifting, the example of what happens when one uses their empathic gifts and to go deep within their own spirits and their own hearts to do work out in the going to create a shift and a change. And Lisa has been coaching with me. I can't believe we're going on almost 2 years now.
I know. It's been a
I
minute.
know. Almost 2 years. Yeah. And it's really enthralling and exciting to see the evolution of her work. And so Lisa, I call her the CSR broker because she takes her work it's so, not to oversimplify it because it is a work and it does take a lot of people to make it work. However, she helps the grassroots organization and nonprofit organizations to be paid entities or help for-profit entities to create a philanthropic arm so that it not just carries out its mission of profitability, but also the mission and edict that we're all given. We have got to take care of our communities, and in particular, take care of communities that are not typically heard, because we're there, but the voices that typically are marginalized and listened to, and she helps to provide resources and allocation. So Lisa say better than I do, but what I will say about Lisa, and it's a point for me to say so, Lisa is about this life. I have watched her be so vulnerable and life to this work. The adversities that show up naturally in life, I have watched her move with a steadfast perseverance and ethics in doing this large work. So, Lisa, without further ado, I am so happy that you said yes. I'm just going to jump right in.
Thank you.
So, Lisa Sullivan, you go from the nonprofit world, right? And your evolution, right? So, an intuitive stylist to a nonprofit, I would say CSR broker. If you can kind of just walk us through how one, the choice to evolve, and then what life has been like after, or I guess as through the evolution.
That's big. Thank you. I think I did intuitive wardrobe styling. That's still a creative part of who I am and what I do. Um, and I also have a whole 15 plus year background in nonprofits and doing work in the community and, uplifting grassroots organizations and small shops. They always have a special spot in my heart because they wear so many different hats and there's so many different avenues that they're called upon in serving community, that it just created an opportunity for me to say, you know what, I want to make this shift away from doing the wardrobe and styling, not because it was just evident that it was time. And it wasn't always easy because I had a tough time letting it go, but it became more and more evident that the evolution needed to happen and that I needed to go with that flow because it was working, because I was seeing traction, because people were saying, what you're doing is important and we need it. And then when you shift that and like kind of layer, you know, working with nonprofits and corporations or for profits in that way, it created this opportunity for me to say, okay, I want to work with and co-create with nonprofits that are in transition and socially conscious businesses in order to help them reimagine and realign who they are and what they want to do. And one way to do that is create leverage. So using dollars from corporations who are sitting right there in the community in order to help pair them up and co-create with organizations who are doing the work on the ground, that then like stands to create a different foundation, a different trajectory for both, right? So both exist together, but we need each other and we need every single sector in order to really make this work and to really see these shifts happen. And I think sometimes with nonprofits, you dig in, you do the work, you roll up your sleeves, you get in there and you're in it. But sometimes the strategy isn't always there. You just do it, right? But if there's an opportunity for me to come in and sort of stand in the gap and look at this nonprofit organization and say, you're doing all these great programs and all these great work, where can we find a for-profit that has similar alignment and mission, or at least wants to go in that direction, and they work together to support each other in doing that. So I think sometimes I call this evolution something that was a little organic, but little birdie needed to be pushed out the nest too. So it's created ways, spaces, avenues that I never thought that I would be exploring in a way that actually is, supporting nonprofits, those who are truly doing the good work to support our communities. And sometimes on shoestring budgets, partially non-existing budgets. So I'm all about leverage, partnership, collaboration. I don't see things as this or that. I see it as a yes and. Like we can function and exist, coexist in these spaces together in order to leverage each other's work. And sometimes you need that person who can kind of be the brain on both sides and said, how do we actually work this out and do this together so that not only does the corporation continue to exist, but so does the nonprofit. But the work that they're doing stands in true alignment and actually making equitable decisions, actually being a socially conscious business that you truly care. So when rubber meets the road, they are walking the talk. So that was a really long answer, but there we go.
No, it's a perfect foundation and groundwork, and I think other people can listen to this and resonate with it, and specifically other empaths who are like yourself, kind of coming out of nonprofit.
Yeah.
Many empaths are coming out of or in or looking ways out of higher education, the medical fields, really all the places that help society keep running, to keep going. We're sort of the engine, the lifeblood that helps,
Yes.
humanity to keep going. So I love that your answer was foundation for understanding, and I hope that those are listening can see an element of themselves in that. Someone may be struggling to, because
Yeah.
as a business owner, if you have to let something go, it can feel like a failure.
That part. Absolutely,
Right.
Brenda. It felt like a failure. It felt like
Right. I failed.
this just blew up. like this totally blew up. What happened? But the shift is what, like, it really didn't blow up because some of the things that, like, I've already implemented and put in place in a different business model, different service area, different client, actually helped set me up and help me dig even deeper into my empathic gift. So it's almost as if, like, I started in one spot serving consumers, right? Like just one to one and supporting those people with wardrobe. However, as an empath, all it did was help me hone the skill to then bring that superpower into spaces where empaths are sometimes, I want to say, like, I don't want to say overlooked, but it's almost like they're sort of functioning in this realm where, like, they're not uplifted. Like, and being in spaces like that where, like, your heart and you feel so much, but being in an environment that doesn't really support that. So I think as time goes on, like, an empaths continue to emerge and people learn more about who they are, and recognizing that that sensitivity and those empathic powers are actually really superpowers. Like the ability for me to exercise my intuition has come so strong as a business owner and in spaces where I'm able to see people for who they are, see organizations and vision with them in a much different way. This is why I'm saying, like, it's reimagining, but those weren't spaces that were available to me in a regular job, in a regular setting. They weren't coming, they weren't there. And I could not figure out why. That was part of the reason why I was so exhausted in doing the other work, because I was in the wrong environment. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was in the wrong place. So if anyone who's listening to this resonates with them in a way that's like, if it feels like you're tired, like maybe it's worth considering. And I just want to invite people to think about the environment that they're in and the energy that's coming into that. Because if you switch that environment, you're not switching yourself, but switching the environment can do wonders for your impact on what you want to do as a business owner and how you see yourself and move about the world.
Yeah. And, part of, the work that you and I endeavored in was to help you make that shift out of a traditional job and more into not even just passion. Lisa, when I hear you speak, this is more a mission. Like, if we're at like your soul's agenda, like Lisa Sullivan is coming to the earth to create
To do
bridges.
X, right? Yeah. Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
this is your mission. Should you choose to accept it, like, this is what you're coming to the planet to do.
Yes.
And I think that you know, I'm a transparent person. Anyone who like coaches with me know I get in there, I curse, I cry, we cry, we yell,
Yep.
we pray,
Ugly
we do right,
signs cry.
we do all. It's a human, yes,
Yes.
right. It is a very human,
Yeah.
it's a very human container. So I just want to ask you, Lisa, in terms of the containers, because you've done VIP days with me. This is year 2 in the Sister Mind. Like, what's expressly about the container that's co-created? So it's a relationship that's co-created
Mhm.
that you feel helps an empath flourish or someone with a heightened sensitivity to flourish.
Um, I think what's been really important about those two groups and, circles of power that I've been in have been the community that's been created. It's so nourishing to be around people who share in your own sensitivities. It's not like a group think kind of thing, but it's more of like people are seeing you as an empath, and it's not, your sensitivities are not weird. And it's a safe space. It's safe to be vulnerable. It's safe to just become raw and ugly and just in the things or places that you're challenged by or just grappling with, that has, it's given me more confidence as an empath, to help me to not think about or to really just reframe what it means to be sensitive. That it's not a weakness, it's not bad. I'm not labeling it as that. and to actually see other empaths in their own gifts, to like supplement my own, because, as you know, and as you've, taught us in the group, that there are 17 different types of empaths, which I didn't even know. And then the more I dig into the work, the more I understand who I am, it becomes clear that there's probably more than one of those that I'm identifying with. And I think what's really brought this out with the group for me is just the intuition that I've been able to really listen to and tap into, because I wasn't always listening to it before we started working together. I would excuse it. I would, push it away. I would resist it until I got to the point where it was like, no, Lisa, like working with you has meant, well, can you be still and listen to that? And go with it, even when it doesn't make sense to other people, but it makes sense to people in the group because they also are kind of in the same lane as I am.
Yeah, yeah. That sometimes when you're unique, it can be very isolating. And when you can find a community and safe space, that vulnerability is you up.
Mm.
And then all of the good that can come in. And while, when we're not there when you are like the purpose, I'm sure you are spirit and you can feel that you have a community that's like, do it, add more zeros. Like you can feel.
Put a comma there. I said, what? A comma?
Right.
Okay.
Here we go. But that are celebrating you. And I just learn for people, we say things like add another zero, is because we're stepping our time, our value, our emotional labor, our expertise, right, in ways so that when we do the work, we don't feel a sense of resentment, that we don't feel like I'm just seeing where I can get, and thus then show up in the work because it's resentful, it's full or resentful energy. It's not ours. And it also can to people how we feel about when we are getting our pricings. And of course, Lisa knows we go through a whole ancestral piece, healing trauma wound, right? Because it's like, oh, just drop. No, because if we could just drop the zeros, right, then we would just all just quit our jobs. And that's not how this works.
That is not how this works.
That's at least that's not the way I.
No, it is taking time. It has taken time and intentionality to get to that place of confidently adding that zero, confidently adding that comma. Like I was not always in that place. And in this spirit of like transparency, it took a minute for me to like get comfortable with being uncomfortable and saying the rate, the figure. And there's still times where I'm like, I kind of get in my head about things. And this is where I would turn to the group, turn to community and say, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. I need support around this. And that's okay. Right. And I think even to date with us working together, I've signed my largest contract to date, which, I was recording reflective wins in the last year, and that was one of them. And I think it's because, I have the group, I have community, I have you, I have those people that are like pushing me. I can't see them, I can feel it, but they're pushing me to do the thing. And I'm like, it worked. So it's like sitting in this space of just manifesting the things that I desire in the midst of also like supporting community. Like, who doesn't want that level of nourishment and thriving, that not only are you feeling whole and centered as a business owner and as a person, but then other people stand to benefit from that too. So whether it's clients, whether it's people in my personal life, whatever that looks like, everybody stands to benefit from that position that I'm able to approach the work. and really start building relationships. And that's what a lot of this has been. It's relationship building. It's stewardship of time and resources, because those then lead to the next thing, which then allows me to support another, nonprofit organization. So it's exciting and scary and exciting. And like I'm feeling
Right.
hopeful about what's next and who I'm able to, co-create with and what's next. So it's good.
Next, girl, listen. So, I mean, I know you and I could do this all day, and I'm just so grateful that you took some time out, to speak with me, share with, the audience, your experience inside the group program, and just sort of the evolution in time that it does, um, take to build, you know, a, a business, because it's
Yeah.
not easy.
No, it's not. And I think it can be done with ease in areas of ease, but not alone. I could not do any of this by myself. I can't. I don't want to. So if there's anything to just leave everyone with this is that, like, don't do it alone. We weren't intended to do it that way. And ask for help, because it will come and the right people show up when you're in an aligned container. It is true. Yeah. And thank you for inviting me to do
Well,
this. Like, thank you.
no, well, no, thank you. I am just again elated that you said yes, again and again, and that I just feel it's just so monumental changing. And I really hope that those who are listening, even in corporate spaces, check out Lisa's work. Lisa, if you can share your website with people.
Sure. It's lisas.me, and the name of my business is LS Ventures. And if you want to email me, it's just hello at lisas.me.
Perfect. Well, I will make sure to get those links dropped into the these. Right now I do have 5 spots available for the VI for the 90-day accelerator program. And I will be opening shortly for the 12-month program. But I just wanted you to get a taste and understanding what is produced in community, but also what happens when you're in a safe space where you can really fully
Mm.
tap intuition, all of the gifts and things. So, and I am really hoping that even in corporate spaces that you hire consultants who lean toward the highly sensitive, empathic nature. What they're going to work is going to open up people in the heart space and marry
Mm.
the intellect, right? It was be a marriage of head and heart, which then makes people unavailable to the good of all. And we're all here to be bridges, because that chasm between have and not is far too wide. And while, yes, we do have elected officials and governments that are working expressly on that, it's still, the work is too heavy, and the power always lies in the hands of the people. Shout out to Lizzo. Saw her last night on the People's Choice Awards. I was over here just like, she had, if she didn't have 10, she had 20 activists, women, female, identical, all on the stage, predominantly colored.
Mm.
She had, so not only did she accept the award, I was that it wasn't her.
I love
She
it.
took the ad and she encouraged everyone to follow them, follow their work. She lifted them up. She gave them their flowers while they are still here. And she didn't have to do that. But that just shows you what a culture
Yeah.
shifter can do, because it's about taste. It's about how we move together collectively and how I use my platform. Let's go. I was
Yes.
here for it.
She's a
I know.
Taurus too. Like, Lizzo is a Taurus. We have the same birthday. I'm gonna just say that. Like, just saying. So shout out to Taurus out there, just saying. Like late in the month April, like a late April Taurus. That part. That part. Anyway, just leave that right there.
And that's the best part. Yeah, and that's the best part. But Taurus or not, we'll take you. Interested in up leveling your experience as a partner, empath, highly sensitive, female business owner. That's awful. Please connect with me. I'll send you a questionnaire, and we can hopefully close the gap so that when you're in your work, it's not work, and you can stand in your power. Lisa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right, friend. I will see you very soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye for now. You too. Bye.